What a night for Zaddy Daddy.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team in the Bay Area. My name is JD Young, contributor at San Jose Hockey Now. I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. Probably part of the Locked On Network. We cover your team every day. And if you want to be an everydayer, all you have to do is just follow wherever you get podcasts, or you can watch on YouTube as well. And Zaddy Daddy himself, Filip Zadina, has a night as the Sharks win 6-3 over the Calgary Flames. So we'll discuss Zadina's night, the depth scoring that the Sharks got tonight that they've been lacking for a good chunk of the season. And Zadina has earned himself a promotion in the line. So we'll talk about that, dig into the numbers, and then, of course, checking out some of the trade deadline rumblings, as it sounds like the Sharks are open for business for a lot of players on the roster. So yes, it is. We are closing in on trade deadlines. So let's start though with the Sharks 6-3 win over the Calgary Flames, who, again, we are past Valentine's Day and the Sharks have not played the Flames until now. Little weird. It was because they played them last March. So it's almost a calendar year between games between the Sharks and the Flames. But Filip Zadina, 2 goals, 2 assists, just an absolute monster night for Zaddy Daddy. And this is, again, this is why you kind of took a flyer on Filip Zadina, signing him to a 1-year, $1.1 million contract, because he has shown talent like this. You've seen flashes of this. And yes, even this year, watching Zadina play, you've seen these flashes, but has never kind of been able to put it together. I think right now, I know he's played well on the fourth line, but with the Sharks dealing with so many injuries in the top 6 or ineffective play, Anthony Duclair, Alexander Barabanov, Luke Kunin scoring 2 goals tonight. We'll get to him in a second. But I think you need to put Zadina in an opportunity to get some more top 6 minutes and see what he can do as you're, kind of go into this offseason. I mean, Filip Zadina is an RFA and the Sharks own his rights. And it's not like he's going to command a massive contract, but I'd like to see what would happen if Zadina gets a little bit more ice time, right? Playing, yes, against tougher competition, but playing with better line mates and just playing more. Zadina has not played like a ton of game, a ton of ice time this year. I'm pulling up his, right now on what he's played this year, but I'll get to you in a second. It would be nice to kind of see what would happen. We've seen spurts of it, right? He played with Hertl and Eklund for a couple games here and there, kind of beginning of the season or kind of middle of the season. But, I really would like to see what would happen if Zadina actually got a good run. Zadina's played 12:43 this year, average time on ice. 17 points in 12:43 a night, 48 games this year. So he's only got, if he gets another 7 points, will tie his career high that he set in the 21-22 season when he played 74 games. So again, just I'd like to kind of see, right? You're in an experimental time right now of the season, right? You're kind of, especially as you start to sell off some pieces. I know the Sharks will probably take back some bad contracts. You're going to have some very much, hey, remember, forever Shark type of players. Look at you, Andreas Johnson. But I would like to see what happens if Zadina plays for Eklund for, a couple games here. If you want to put Kunin, Eklund, and Zadina together, cool. Let those guys fly. Let Eklund kind of create, let Kunin do kind of a lot of the dirty work that we've seen Kunin do, and he's very good at doing, and then let Zadina, get a chance to kind of continue to see if he can put some of the scoring touch together that we have seen. I mean, both his goals tonight were beautiful goals, and the assists tonight too. Two primary assists, one where he's all alone in the zone, protects the puck, and then finds Granlund. Granlund does a great job of kind of outpatienting Dustin Wolf, and then is able to kind of roof it. And then another one, nice tic-tac-toe goal with Justin Bailey. Bailey does a good job of creating that goal, kind of creating pressure, which leads to a turnover. And then Zadina's right place, right time. And instead of, it would have been very easy for Zadina just to kind of take it, turn and shoot, but he has a lot of patience and sees Justin Bailey streaking, passes to Bailey, and Bailey roofs it. And then the goals, that tip goal where he just kind of flies, like he passes it to Bailey, and Bailey almost like kind of has that slap pass, and Zadina gets such a good deflection on it. Like Dustin Wolf had no chance on there. Poor Dustin Wolf tonight. Not much of a chance. So I'm rooting for Dustin Wolf. I think Dustin Wolf's gonna be really good. I think most Sharks fans are rooting for Wolf as a Bay Area kid. Or Gilbert. I don't guess Gilbert was not Bay Area, but you know what I mean. But yeah, good to see Zadina kind of taking advantage of these opportunities. And they were trying really hard to get the hat trick going forward. But Zadina, he's played really well. I think he's played pretty well for the most part on the bottom, in the bottom pairing. The bottom line. Would like to kind of see him get a couple more opportunities here. Play with Eklund, play with Granlund, play with some of these other guys, and see what he can do. That way you can see again what are you doing with Zadina going into the offseason? Are you a guy who's probably going to be a guy who is going to be going into next year penciled into the bottom six, or could Zadina be a middle six type of guy for you? If you get some more opportunity, get some, can add some scoring touch as the Sharks continue to, again, you're trying to find pieces going forward. So Luke Kunin, every time he does it, my answer would have been, replace Luke Kunin. But again, Kunin goes out and scores 2 goals tonight. And I'm going to be really, really, really interested to see. We'll talk about the trade deadline here at the end of the show, but I wouldn't be surprised if teams come calling for Luke Kunin again, right? He's sticks up for his teammates. He has some little bit of scoring pop. You can play him on the penalty kill. Like he's kind of that depth forward that a lot of teams are looking to add to their bottom 6. Again, Kunin's playing way out of it, kind of playing up, punching up above his weight right now because the Sharks just don't have anybody else. Very much Matt Nieto style, for the past couple of years. But I wouldn't be surprised. And I'm curious to see what Grier does, because remember that was one of the first moves Mike Grier did was to trade for Luke Kunin on draft day, bring him in, giving him up a 3rd round pick. John Leonard is carving himself out a really nice AHL career right now, and then signing to that deal. Really interested to see kind of what happens with Kunin going into the trade deadline, or if the Sharks want to kind of keep him around. He's wearing the A right now. There's a lot of kind of this guy's beloved in the locker room, kind of one of those culture guys. So especially if maybe Mario Ferraro gets traded, maybe Luke kind of takes that role from Mario Ferraro as the beloved culture room guy in the locker room. So, but overall, I mean, the Sharks in this game, they got depth scoring right. Justin Bailey with 3 points tonight with a goal and 2 assists. Luke Kunin, I know he's playing second line, but Luke Kunin is not one of the guys you kind of count on to kind of carry the weight when it comes to scoring goals. Filip Zadina with 4 points. These are the guys who kind of have to pick up the slack, especially with Hurdle out and Couture out, and if the Sharks want to be competitive in games. And Mackenzie Blackwood continues to play really well. The Sharks goaltending has been top notch this year. This is some of the best goaltending we've seen out of San Jose in a long, long time. And I'm Unless you get a first for Capo Kakinen, and I'm very tempted just to keep both goalies and try to run it back next year, as you hope that you start to kind of maybe, next year you see what happens in the offseason, start to be a little bit better next year. So we'll get into what the numbers say, and then of course we'll kind of talk about some more of the trade deadline here in just 1 second. Passion, drive, and patience, what brings home the winning trophy, is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. From superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more, whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guarantee Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guarantee Fit only available to U.S. customers. All right, let's dig into the numbers of this game. And a lot of power plays, and I think that was kind of one of the big differences in this game was the Sharks penalty kill. And I know the Flames power play is not very good. I think they're ranked 27th coming to this game. But when you get 5 power play opportunities and you don't score on any of them, that's a night. That's a good night for your penalty kill, especially for the Sharks penalty kill, which has struggled this season, but has played better at times. So, yeah, a lot of power play. I think in the Sharks scoring a power play goal of their own, again, I know it was 6-3, but when you give up 5 penalty kill, and they were all pretty obvious penalty kill or penalties on the Sharks, but you kind of you maybe you put the Flames in a bad position on purpose, knowing their power play anyway. But so we had 43-50 of 5v5 time. 54 to 52 shot attempts in favor of the Flames, or 50.94% Corsi 4. Scoring chances shots for 27 to 23 at 5v5 in favor of the Sharks. So good job there, kind of making the most and kind of blocking shots, all that fun stuff, et cetera, et cetera. Scoring chances 26 to 21 in favor of the Flames. High danger chances of 14 to 5 in favor of the Flames. So a little bit, and especially that first period, the Flames had 5-0 high danger chances. I think, that first period, there was so many bad turnovers where Mackenzie Blackwood bailed the Sharks. It felt like that could have, if that first period goes a little bit different, we're talking about a 6-3 Flames win instead of a 6-3 Sharks win, because I think Blackwood kind of steadied the ship for the Sharks in the first period. 2.49 to 1.63 expected goals for in favor of the Flames, but the Sharks scored 5 even strength goals to the Flames 3. For the forwards tonight, again, with Jacob McDonald still sort of, as a defenseman, his a little bit tough here to kind of figure him out. But we had Zetterlund, Granlund, Duclair, Barabanov, Eek Line, Kunin, Zadina, Carpenter, Bailey, and then we had the Hoffman, Sturm, Jacob McDonald line. The Eklund line played the most at 5v5, 10-31, 16 shot attempts for, 14 against. So good job by them. 8-6 shot attempts, had a goal, gave up a goal. And that one goal that they gave up at the beginning, that was Eklund tried to make a play and just isn't able to hold on to the puck, which leads to a kind of a rush shot the other way. But they came back and kind of made up for it. So scoring chances 6-4 in favor of that line, and then 2-2 high danger chances, with, again, mostly kind of protecting the Eklund line with 4 offensive zone starts, 4 neutral zone starts, and 1 defensive zone start. The Zetterlund, Granlund, Duclair line, they had 9-16 time on ice, 13-12 shot attempts, 7-4 actual shots, gave up a goal. That goal that Granlund scored was kind of in the middle of a transition or a line change there. 0.26 to 0.56 expected goals, 4 to 5 scoring chances, 1 to 3 high danger chances with 4-6-1 zone starts. Zadina, Carpenter, Bailey, 555 time on ice, 2 to 6 shot attempts, 1 to 2 actual shots. Did give up a goal. They had 0.7 to 0.16 expected goals, 4 1-to-1 scoring chances, 1 high danger chance with 8 zone starts. So that was Carpenter was kind of the guy who was that Quinn was leaning on there. Zadina, Stern, Bailey played together for a minute 19, 2 shot attempts, had a actual shot, and scored a goal. So interesting to see there. As for the Hoffman, Sturm, those guys played. Sorry. So Sturm, 6 to 6 shot attempts, 50%. Hoffman, 6 to 9 shot attempts, 40%. Corsi 4, excuse me. And then McDonald, 6 to 11 shot attempts, 35. So that line, I think, a little bit of a tougher night. I know McDonald's kind of in and out. I think he got banged up a little bit. So Sharks managed to somehow get through this game unscathed, even though they did have 2 scares. Granlund going to the boards awkwardly, and Ruda also left. Both those you could have argued were slew foots. I know they were arguing very much on the broadcast that they were slew foots. I'm not smart enough to try to figure out if they were slew foots or not. But it's, again, the Sharks are one Granlund injury away from having an Eklund, Kunin, Sturm, Carpenter, I guess, would be your top, your forward, your centers right there. So, yeah. Let's look at Mackenzie Blackwood's night. So he, in all situations tonight, 31 saves on 34 shots, 3 goals against. Expected goals against was 4 or 6. That third goal was not Mackenzie Blackwood's fault, as the defense just, like, the Sharks got up 6-2, or they were up by multiple goals, 3 goals, I think, at that point, and just kind of did nothing for a good chunk of the game. And I think that was, sorry, they were up 5-2, got up and didn't do much, and then that scored a goal and then kind of sealed another goal there, if I think I have my timeline right. But anyway, very much just kind of standing around the defensive zone, and it looked very much like a power play, and Blackwood got should have only had 2 goals against tonight for Blackwood. But 912 save percentage, I think that actually bumps up Blackwood's save percentage over 900 for the first. So let's keep that up for Blackwood. 8 high danger saves on 10 high danger shots, 11 mid danger saves on 11 mid danger shots, and 11 for 12 on the low danger there. So Blackwood and Capo Kakinen, man, we know it's a mess in front of them a lot of the times, but those guys have been playing hard and bailing the team out. And again, I'm really intrigued to see what Mike Grier does with those guys. I think Capo Kakinen's the more tradable one because he's in the last year of his deal. But both those guys have been playing really hard, and it was nice to see at least tonight Mackenzie Blackwood get a little bit of run support with 6 goals. So that's the third time this year the Sharks have scored 6 goals. Connor McDavid had 6 assists the other night by himself, so which is kind of crazy. Anyway, so we'll get into the trade deadline here in 1 minute. Just kind of some of the trade rumblings, what teams are potentially interested in, kind of looking at what assets said teams have to try to, again, we're trying to put the Sharks in a position to succeed going forward. So we'll get to that here in just 1 minute. Our sponsor today is Camino Consulting. How would you like to get to know someone better in an hour than you would in a year? Understanding one another prevents small misunderstandings from becoming big, ongoing fights. After providing more than 20 years of service to small and mid-sized businesses, helping management groups navigate conflict and onboarding new employees, Camino is offering a digital seminar for families and couples. Did your Valentine's gift or tickets to the game not go over as well as you'd hoped? Get the couples and family online seminar for 25% off for the month of February using the discount code Locked On. Again, that's discount code Locked On for 25% off for the rest of the month at CaminoConsulting.ca or mention Locked On. We're reaching out for a business seminar and receive the first 5 profiles for free. All right. Let's get to the trade deadline. Rumblings. I'm not feeling 100%. Trying to hang in there. Last episode of the week. Trying to hang in there. So we have, I know the fourth period, David Pagnotti, he tweeted out today that he was on the NHL Network, humble brag, but Sharks are wide open for business. This is what the tweet said. Minus a couple young studs, San Jose has told everyone, to tell people that they are listening, keyword there, on everyone, including the likes of defenseman Mario Ferraro and captain Logan Couture. On Couture, I'm told his injury could keep him out long term. If a move happens, it's more likely to occur in the offseason. Is a 3-team trade list, but is willing to consider additional options. Nashville, Buffalo, and Ottawa, among other teams that expressed interest in the past. I'd be surprised if all 3 of those teams would be interested now. Kind of, especially where they're at. Maybe Buffalo. I don't know. But anyway. So it's definitely very much wide open right now for the Sharks, and it should be. And I would assume your young studs include like your untradables, like Eklund, Shakir, like some of those guys, Fabian Zetterlund, like those young players who you expect to be part of the Sharks' next good team. Like those guys are right. You're not trading those, but guys though, kind of that are being out there. So we have Anthony Duclair. Some of the teams that he's been reportedly linked to are Edmonton, Colorado, Vegas, New York Rangers, and Toronto. Again, I don't care if I'm trading with Vegas. Like, I know there's gonna be a lot of fans who are like, don't trade with Vegas, don't trade with Vegas. Like, one, Vegas already won the cup last year. Like, it's over. Okay. Who cares? Vegas and the San Jose are in different leagues right now as what they are in their competitive cycles. And right now I'm trying to get assets, right? Future assets. So Vegas, we'll look at some of these teams here in a minute, but yeah, that's the teams that they're being looked. These are all comes from the fourthperiod.com. Barabanov, Edmonton, Colorado, Florida, and Tampa Bay are teams that he has been linked with. Mike Hoffman's on his list with no teams as well. And then another one he doesn't have listed, but I think the Mario Ferraro and Toronto, right? We know Toronto is trying to find any sort of defensive help. And I've seen plenty of Twitter trades where, kind of Nick Robinson is kind of the guy who gets kind of floated around the most as kind of the piece. So, but let's look at some of the other teams here and try to, again, just looking at some of the pieces, not like this is what they need to ask for, but just pieces that you would probably try to pry away. So I think Edmonton, we can kind of look at them. I know they're looking for depth scoring, right? And that's always been their thing, right? We know Big David, we know Draisaitl. I know their defense goaltending has been questionable, but they're just going to try to outscore everybody. That's kind of their plan here. So it'd be interesting defensively because you have a guy like Philip Broberg who has been potentially out there, left-handed defenseman. There has been plenty of he's playing right now with Bakersfield. There's been plenty of is he potentially available? I would be very happy to try to get him in a trade because again, their draft capital wise. They do have a first and a second, no third or fourth this year. So maybe if you can either ask for the second, if you're get lucky, Probably not with the way like Duclair and Barabanov have been playing. Maybe it's like a fifth plus, but Broberg is like kind of the piece that you get back. Or maybe you get Broberg and then I don't know. But yeah, that's the kind of the guy I would try to ask for because he's 22, left-handed. I know he's left-handed defenseman. The Sharks have a bajillion left-handed defensemen. But 19 points in 29 games for the Condors this year. Like he's good. Like he is legitimately good. Hasn't been able to crack the NHL. Understandably, I get it. I think he needs kind of a little bit more offensive role. And the Sharks are going to have roles to kind of fill here. So that's kind of the guy I would circle if I was Mike Grier. Also really love Bo Akey. I know Bo Akey got hurt this year. But I love Bo Akey in the draft. So that's, again, just guys I'm looking at. Who else was a potential there? So Colorado is interesting because they're pretty tight against the cap. They do have a little bit of wiggle room when it comes to cap space, but they're pretty tight against the cap right now. As they're, you have Landeskog is, out for the season. I know they're looking at goalies really hard, especially because Georgiev has been kind of up and down this season. So maybe they put their assets towards, I would assume they probably put their assets towards another goalie to try to, and that could be a very Capo Kakinen type of trade. But you have, for them, their prospect pool is still pretty solid. Jean-Luc Foudy, who's been kind of meh. Again, like you're not getting an A+ prospect back from these guys. So you're trying to kind of guys who you think can maybe come in and help you at some point. So Jean-Luc, you have Oscar Olofsson, the Swede, who is a former first-round pick in the 2021 draft. And he's been, he's had a pretty good season in the AHL this year. He's had 20 points in 39 games. Last year, 20 points in 63 games. So I know he's was a pretty solid looking prospect coming in. So he could be a guy that you maybe try to grab. So again, you're trying to grab one of these guys here who you think could be, if they're not going to give up picks. Colorado, they have a first round, they have a fourth round, and then they're kind of, and some late round picks as well. So just a couple of potential guys there. Let's see, Vegas. What does Vegas have right now? So Vegas is again, they're always interesting because they're willing to do whatever, right? They're very cutthroat with theirs. They have their first, second, and third round picks, so they are pretty well. The only thing they don't have is their fourth round pick this year, which I believe was the Aiden Hill pick, the trade. So that's the only one that they don't have. Their prospect pool, though, is nowhere near as good because, again, they've been trading away a lot of their top prospects to try to make things happen. Brandon Brisson is like the one guy, and David Edstrom, who they drafted last year, but I don't think they're going to give up. Brisson would be interesting. I would try to go more of a pick from Vegas, especially because they have all their picks as they try to load up. So, and then Rangers, it was kind of the same thing. I think we talked about the Rangers before about what you would try to get from them. They have all, let's see, they don't have a third round pick, but they do have the first, second, fourth, and fifth, sixth. No, you're not going to get Gabe Perreault. You can just kind of stop that right now. So we'll just, you're not getting Gabe Perreault from the Rangers. But I would maybe Brendan Othman, who I think I like a little bit more than other people. He's been kind of flirting at NHL level, kind of a tweener right now with him. So, and then of course you have with the Maple Leafs, they're kind of the other one, and you see all the Maple Leafs fans are more than willing to try to trade Nick Robertson, who's in the last year of his ELC, still waivers exempt. Not that it really matters for the Sharks, but last year of his deal, RFA, and he's been kind of one of those guys who's been floating between the AHL and the NHL. This year does have 15 points in 33 games for the Maple Leafs. Also has 11 points in 9 games in the AHL. His brother Jason is very good, but he's been kind of the main centerpiece so far. So I think if we start to kind of hear a little bit more about this as a potential trade, I'll probably kind of explore it a little bit more. But just wanted to get some of the rumblings as we kind of get closer to the trade deadline. Which players are what you're trying to get back. Yes, it's going to suck losing some of these players, but again, what are you getting back? What are you getting in return? So that's going to be it for me today. We'll be back Saturday night. So I'm going to do a podcast Saturday night after the Sharks game against the Blue Jackets, because the Sharks have a Monday afternoon game. So that way, at least we can talk about that. You can listen to that on Sunday. There's not going to be any football to watch on Sunday anyway. And I think it's the NBA All-Star the weekend. So and then Monday we'll have an episode Monday afternoon, right after the game then. So make sure you guys are following along wherever you get podcasts, and of course you can watch on YouTube as well. Follow me or follow the show on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Locked On Sharks. Follow me on Twitter at MyFryHole. Until tomorrow, bye friends.